FM 104.5 and 106.1 and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your questions. Get seen on TV, YouTube, and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Support your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe.
And 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe. And worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Welcome to Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour. I am your host, Douglas B., and you can watch us and listen to us live, like you're doing right now, the first Tuesday of every month at 1 p.m. You can listen to past broadcasts at www.VeteransAir.us or on Lone Star Community Radio. You also can find us out on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else you get your fine podcasts. As always, we'll start with a little housekeeping. You can contact Veterans Air through www.VeteransAir.us. You can leave us a message, send us a text, send us an email, or you can text us on the air on our Google phone, 936-344-3083. Got a big show, a lot of stuff to cover today. In the studio with us, we have Marcy Phillips, the commander of VFW 4709, is going to talk to us about the upcoming Red, White, and Boots fundraising gala. We're going to talk about veterans starting their own businesses, and we're going to talk about PAC Act because I went to the VFW Winter Conference and learned a whole bunch of good stuff, and I'm going to pass it on to you. As always, you'll be able to get a transcript of this show after the show, and along with all my notes and the links for everything that I found for you can go do your own research. So, since we have a whole much to do, let's get started. Marcy, thank you for coming in.
Thanks
You're
for
looking
asking me
wonderful.
to be here.
I'm seeing that
So
you
are
brought my girlfriend Benet. She's now
she just wagged her tail
she's comatose.
a little bit.
On February 23rd,
Yes.
VFW 4709 is going to have a Red, White, and Boots fundraising gala.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, the gala it's very simple. We are in need of money, so we are hosting a fundraiser. It's going to be live and silent auctions, dinner, and some guest speakers. We have Congressman Morgan Luttrell, who's a life member of our post and has been very supportive of us, as well as our national VFW Adjutant General. His name's Dan West, and he was our Texas Adjutant Quartermaster. He's an amazing guy and has always been fantastic for 4709, so we're very grateful that he's able to come as well. So great speakers, great evening with friends, and and hopefully we can make a little cash to help the post out so we can continue our programs to help veterans.
So when and where is this?
It's at the North Montgomery County Community Center off 600 Gerald in Willis, and it's on February 23rd, which is a Thursday, so school night. So it's from 5 to 9, and come as you are, business casual, Western, whatever you want to wear. We're not doing formal black tie kind of stuff, but we will serve you dinner. So
What are we having for dinner?
Joe's Italian, of course. I know, right? Joe loves the Post, and the Post loves Joe. So if Joe says, hey, can I help? And I'm going to say yes.
I like Joe's. Good food out there.
Oh, yeah.
Good food. The restaurant is always so packed, though. Have you
It
noticed
is.
that?
I'm disappointed in his lack of parking. I'll have to talk to him about that.
Yeah. If y'all don't know where Joe's Italian is, it's on North Fraser, between the North and South Loops. And it's very, very easy to find. Just look for all the political signs out front. That'll be Joe's.
During campaign season. When you drive around back, he's got murals all over the building. The whole backside is dedicated to the VFW. So we're very grateful for that.
Is it really? I did not know that.
It is. Go check it out.
I'm going to have to go and photograph
When I
that.
say he loves the Post and supports Post, Joe loves veterans and does a lot for us.
I'm going to have to go take pictures of that.
Well, eat something good while you're taking pics.
Yeah, absolutely. Tickets.
Tickets.
Where can we get tickets, and how much are these tickets?
So it depends. There's a myriad of options. We have a veteran and first responder rate at $50 per ticket. The general admission is $75. We found a really neat nonprofit auction platform. It's called Give Butter. So our website to buy tickets and table sponsorships and everything is givebutter.com/VFW4709 Gala. It'll be on the Facebook page. So just find us on Facebook.
I'm going to make
and
it
it's
real
there.
easy for you. Y'all, if you go to www.vfw4709.org, right there on the front page, you'll find the VFW's Red, White, and Boots Gala logo, whatnot. You click on it, it'll take you right over to Give Butter.
Yes.
And where you can buy your tickets, make donations.
Yes.
I hear a rumor,
Uh-oh.
and I love rumors.
Me too.
I hear a rumor that if you're a veteran, do you get a discount?
You do. So the veteran and first responder and active military, we want y'all to come too, is $50 to get in. It's $75 for general admission.
I would definitely do $50 for Joe's Italian.
I know, right? Well, and helping veterans. I mean, because that's really, you're getting great food, which is just kind of like a side note to what you're doing by attending. We really need to get a head count for dinner, so we really want to push going ahead and getting people to purchase their tickets or table sponsorships or whatever they want to do. So we are trying to push people to go ahead. We've had a lot of people that say, yes, I'm coming, and RSVP on Facebook. So I'm trying to send out the link so we can go ahead and get a good head count. I don't want Fidan and Joe to be sideswiped and Nikki and all of them at Joe's whenever the last minute I'm like, hey, 40 more people just signed up tonight. So
And you know what's amazing about them, too?
what's that?
When that happens,
They don't care.
you just run back to the restaurant, make up another big batch, bring it on back.
I know, but I'm trying to be respectful, man.
Thank you, Joe, by the way. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
So we come in, we do dinner. Our guest speaker is?
So we will have Adjutant General Dan West speak first, and then Congressman Morgan Luttrell speak after that. I would rather call him Life Member Morgan Luttrell because it's really more relevant to the VFW.
I agree.
In a way.
I agree.
In a way.
I agree. What happens when they stop speaking?
So when they stop speaking, we'll do the live auction. And during that time, if people want to get up and, snipe their bids, because everybody wants to be the last one to bid on that silent auction item, then we will announce closing right before silent auction closes so people can get in there and get their favorite item. So all of that will happen after dinner. We'll also be, during dinner, we're going to be showing some of our scholarship winners' videos. So we're excited to show that. People don't realize what all the VFW does.
Now, for the scholarships, you're talking Patriot Pen and
Voice of Democracy.
Voice of Democracy.
Yes. So we've got a couple of the winners that have, they're very excited to do videos of themselves saying their speech, their essay. So we're excited to share that because we don't always get to put that out in the community, or I should say we've failed to put that out in the community in the past because it's always just been a piece of paper. But doing a video and having them, be the forefront of what we do and show people how we're historical and educational and patriotic, that's a big deal to show what our community does. Now, this year, we have had to really cut back on the amount of scholarships. Don't tell those kids that. But a big part of it is all the expenses at the post. But we're really hoping that by doing this, we can help increase not just the scholarship funds, but also our veteran assistance.
Each year, you can go back and look, each year Veterans Air has done a show for Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy. And I push this every time I come across a child of those years and say, did you know that you can get free money for college and all it's going to take is like a paragraph or two? And they're like, no. I went like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people, actually, not a lot of students, a lot of children actually do this. So there's scholarships available. And I want you all to understand, I don't want to get off onto Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy, but I want to put this out. You win here at the post level, and we give you a scholarship. Mm-hmm. You win at district level, and they give you a scholarship. You win at state level, and they give you a scholarship. You win at national level, and they give you a scholarship. So we're talking serious money here. If you listening to me and you're a student, you need to go on over to the VFW and talk to one of the officers over there and say, how do I get involved with this? Because each year they come up with a new topic.
Right.
And they haven't picked the topics for 2023
Not
yet, have they?
Not yet. Not until they announce the winner at national. Then they'll go ahead and put out, or I'm sorry, not at national. It'll be coming out in the next few months. So once they put that out and we find out what the new prompt is, it kind of falls funny because it falls at the end of one school year and the beginning of the next. So all summer long, they could be working on this because what kid doesn't want to work on scholarships during the summer? And they're always due by Halloween to the post. Now, little short side note, I was in Oklahoma at their convention, and there was a young lady that came and spoke, and she talked about how when she won at each level and ended up winning at national, she utilized that speech that she wrote for Voice of Democracy in her scholarships and her doctoral thesis and all kinds of things, and ended up getting a free ride all the way up to her doctorate.
So now when Allison did her scholarships, I was unaware that we were giving out scholarships. But she got a boatload of scholarships just by writing stuff, just by applying for them. She got like almost, well, she got the free ride, excuse me, to Texas Tech. But there was some things they didn't cover, like meal plans and things like that. Yes, I'm still paying off for student loans.
Yes, it's terrible. Well, I will say, I've been VOD and Patriot Pen chair, and so just putting this out there, if there's any school administrators, reach back out to us. We put it out to Montgomery, Willis, and Conroe, and we got 20 applicants this year for Patriots Pen out of 3 school districts.
Yeah, I think I graded like 13 of them.
I was going to say, it's sad out of that many districts, the participation, and we got 1 teacher of the year, 1, and I had to beg for it.
Y'all not paying attention.
Right.
Either the VFW is not doing a good job of advertising,
right,
or y'all not paying attention.
Hey.
And listen, since I did judge some of these, let me just put this out. Microsoft Word has spell checking and a thesaurus and grammar check built in. Some of y'all out there might want to utilize that.
I suggest it.
See, I'm not speaking as the VFW. I'm
No.
speaking as Veterans Air, so I can say whatever the hell I want.
I do recommend they use that. But
So, the 23rd of February, I'm not going to be here, but I would come.
I know.
Morgan's a very good speaker, by the way.
He is.
Well, he better be. He's a congressman.
Well, I mean, not all congressmen are, but
Oh, that's true. Can we make him smile?
no. Actually, he does smile a lot, but I think it.
I saw his smile because when first time I interviewed him on the air, I got him to smile on the video, and then after that I said, perhaps you shouldn't smile anymore. He is an intimidating looking individual.
But he's a very sweet person. He is genuinely a very nice person who was very respectful of the fact that he didn't want to utilize his membership for campaigning. And I appreciate that because that has not always been the case in the past. So I was very appreciative of that. But Dan West is also an amazing speaker. If you tell him 10 minutes, he'll take 15. So, we kind of have to.
Yeah, but
but
Dan
it's always
knows everything.
Good. He does.
Dan, he's going to be swamped after he gets off the stage.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to be going over there because I have this question I have to have answered.
Right.
And Dan knows everything.
He does. He really does. And thank you, by the way, Texas Grace, or Veterans Air, I'm not sure who, donated a couple of pictures for our silent auction.
That was Texas Grace.
Texas Grace, thank you.
Did you fix the POW car one?
Not yet.
But you're going to use it?
Yes, I'm going to use it. I'm so excited that you did that because we need silent auction, mostly live auction items. So it's a big help.
So if you all follow Texas Grace on Facebook, that's my side gig as a photographer. I have 2 limited edition canvas prints that I donated for the silent auction. One is a picture of the 1955 Chevy drag raced car for the POW MIAs. You may have seen it around. That, by the way, I believe is going to the Smithsonian.
Really?
Car.
I didn't know that.
And the other one is the awarded American Fury print. That's won a couple of awards, and they are limited edition prints, so go bid on them. Raise money. The VFW, they need it. We can't do the work, or the VFW rather can't do the work in the community that it wants to do and has traditionally done because of lack of funding. And the VFW, just like every other charity out there, they're a 501c, they exist solely on donations. Donations have been a bit slow the past couple of years. Now, since the VFW is a 501c19, meaning it's congressionally chartered, their rules are a little bit different. And I hope you can stay because we're going to talk about, I'm going to switch it up here. We're going to talk about starting a veteran-owned business, Dick, and then we'll go into the PAC Act. Veterans-owned businesses. The VFW is actually involved in this in an offbeat way because they are a 501c19 congressionally chartered. Now, in the past number of years, the amount of organizations forming 501cs has skyrocketed. It really has. And because there are so many 501cs, that affects all the other 501cs out there for donations. Because when you have a small pond and a whole bunch of fishies, there's only so much food to go around. My 2 organizations that I do, Veterans Air and Bitter Glitter, neither one are a 501c, but you can expect that to be forthcoming. And I'm going to tell you why, which brings us to the topic that we want to talk about, which is starting a veterans-owned business. Now, forming a 501c is not rocket science, but it's not trivial either. If you are a veteran and you want to start a veteran-owned business and or a 501c, because let me stop and back up for a second and talk about 501cs. Believe it or not, if you have a business and you formed a 501c3, the purpose of your business, believe it or not, the reason you exist is to make money. Your mission statement determines what you're going to do with that money. And here's a shocker. If you don't make money, you can't complete your mission statement. And if you can't complete your mission statement, you can't be a 501c. Whether that be a 501c3 or 501c19, whatever the case may be, there's a plethora of 501s out there. And the reason that your business might qualify to be a 501c, or you might consider starting a 501c, is because of the tax advantages of a 501c. See how this circle is being closed up? Because if you pay less taxes, then you're making more profit. And if you're making more profit, you can complete your mission statement. That's how it works. Now, this is coming, by the way, what I'm going to be talking about here is from the Secretary of State in Texas and the Texas Veteran Commission, because you'll be working closely with both of those organizations. If you're forming a veteran-owned business between January 1st, 2022 or December 31st, 2025, then you may be considered a new veteran-owned business as defined by Senate Bill 938. This is a new bill in Texas, a new law, and it was passed June 16th, 2021. A new veteran-owned business is not subject to certain filing fees and the Texas franchise tax until the earlier of the 5th anniversary of the entity's existence or the date the business ceased to qualify as a new veteran-owned business. Franchise tax. Yes, you have to pay it every single year. Some organizations may decide they're going to pay it quarterly. What does the VFW pay? Yearly or quarterly?
I believe it's yearly. Actually, no, it's quarterly now that we're with the accountant. She handles the quarterly taxes.
Which makes it much
easier.
Nobody wants to pay tax, but paying tax is how we get things done. One of the advantages of being a 501c is sales tax. One of the advantages of being a 501c is wholesale pricing. To form a Texas veteran-owned Texas business in the state of Texas, you have to be 100% owned by an individual or individuals, with each owner being an honorably discharged veteran from a branch of the U.S. Armed Services. That's Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy. Yeah.
Coast Guard.
We're going to call,
Space Force.
well, I always come down on the Coast Guard, but ever since that coastie jumped off the ship and started beating on the submarine, I'm going to give them badass status.
Well, see, the people don't understand, like, the flag order puts Coast Guard at the end when we're not technically at war by Congress, because they fall under the Department of Transportation. The rest of us fall under the Department of Defense. So that's why whenever they say armed forces, everyone's like, well, they're just Uber, which is not true. It's not true. Sorry, all my coasties. Have you ever seen their rescue swimmers? They're insane.
Yes, they are.
These people do some crazy stuff, and I applaud them, and I do consider them a branch. Maybe not the best branch like the Army, but but they're cool.
Now, Marcy had told me this months ago.
It probably wasn't true then.
And I figured she was just smoking dope and wasn't going to say that, or she got into Bené's treats and went a little overboard. But it turns out that she was absolutely correct.
Can I get that played back? I need a recording of that.
Where is this? Now, if you're starting a business and you use the following words in your business entity's name: veteran, legion, foreign, Spanish, disabled, war, world war, or any abbreviation thereof. Do you know who has to approve that?
We do.
And when I went to the VFW Winter Conference, was it last month that we went? Last month, they actually convened, got everybody together, and they voted on these companies that were being formed whether or not they could use the word veteran in their business.
And the business has to submit a proposal to the VFW explaining, especially a nonprofit, what their mission is, what their vision is, and all of those things, and how they're going to impact the veteran community.
Now, Veterans Air, I say that's one word.
I mean, it is. There's no space.
But I am not a 501c at the moment. I fall under the Lone Star Community Radio's 501c. So when you're donating to sponsor the show, it's going to Lone Star Community Radio as the 501c, and you're covered there. Before you can even think about starting the paperwork to do a veteran-owned business with the words veteran, legion, foreign, Spanish, disabled, war, or world war, or abbreviation thereof, you have to do two things. And these are very, very, very important things. The first is become a verified veteran. And if you check the show links below, above, or on the sides, depending where you're listening to me, there'll be a link to do that with. Just submit an email. The Secretary of State will send back and request your documents. It's usually your DD-214 or some version thereof that proves that you're an honorably discharged veteran. Once you get your letter back that you're verified, you want to turn around very same day and submit your proposal to the VFW. So do they have to submit that at national, or do they submit that regionally first?
They would submit that to department because it's the Texas Secretary of State. You'd submit it to the Texas VFW. If anything needs to go further up, they will. The adjutant quartermaster is Ben Lawrence, and so it's just ben@texasvfw.org, and he'll get the ball rolling where it needs to roll.
And stop me if I'm wrong. Are you not a district officer?
I am.
So we've known each other for a while now. Would you expect me to actually follow procedure?
100%
No,
I
I'm just
do.
going to give it to you.
I have been on speed dial, poor guy.
And I have you on speed dial.
It works.
It can take up to 75 days to get your verification letter back. So you want to do this straight away. Get the ball rolling before you even just go forth and try to put together the corporate paperwork. It doesn't matter what entity you form. For example, you can form an LLC, you can form an LLP, limited partnership, you can form an S corp, you can form a C corp. What business entity you choose to form is based upon what your needs are and the needs of this organization. That's going to determine what entity. What entity you choose to form for your company has no bearing on your 501c3. Your entity is established and your 501c3 is established. So I can do Veterans Air Radio and Media Corporation, Inc., and still be in a 501c3. That's why you have the Texas Secretary of State and the Texas Veteran Commission both working together to help you get your documents together, get formed, and get started. These are not trivial tasks. So where were we? You submit and get your veterans verification letter from the Texas Veterans Commission. You complete a certification of new veteran-owned businesses, which is obtained from the Comptroller of Public Records. And you submit a certificate of formation to the Secretary of State together with the documents referenced in step 1 and 2. And for faster processing, you can submit all these documents electronically. Now, you all know, if you've been listening to me, that I have a master's degree in business management. Putting on my business management hat, I work with a lot of different companies and a lot of different 501c. You should have a book, a 3-ring binder. And in that 3-ring binder, in those protector sheets?
Yep.
The protector sheets, in there should be all of this paperwork. And then it should be sitting on a shelf. Because this proves that you are who you say you are.
And copies should be kept in a safe.
That's the voice of experience, and copies should be kept in a safe.
But keep the combination.
That's true. That's true. Again, qualifying new veteran-owned businesses are not subject to state franchise tax for 5 years. But the business must still file certain reports with the Comptroller of Public Accounts, and you can go to their website, Comptroller's website, and find out what they are. You have to do your forms. If you're a 501c, you have to do your 990s. Mm-hmm. If you're not a 501c, you're just in business, you have to do your franchise tax. Even if it's 0 for the first 5 years, you still have to file that form. Because the last thing you want to do is to lose your status as a business entity. You're a veteran, and you're forming a business. And that business is your baby. But guess what? Because that business is your baby, it's an individual. It's an entity unto itself. Once you form your company, you are not the company. The company is you.
So, for example, with the VFW, we have elections every year. If your commander changes every year, you update it with Secretary of State every year as a new owner. Even though I don't own that post at all, thank God, I still have to be listed as the owner on it. And I also have to file new sales and use and everything. Each year, the new commander will have to come in and start all over.
Yep, absolutely. Starting a business is not for the weak. If you start your own business, you have a big set, brass big set. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that baby that you just made, that entity has people that work in it. And you have to make sure that they get paid. And you have to make sure that you pay your payroll tax for them. So everybody else gets paid before you do. When I started my first business up to years ago, we were eating ramyuns because they were 10 cents a piece. That's true. All my employees got paid. I was eating ramyuns. We are going to go more in depth in March's show on veteran-owned businesses. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I think a lot of people want to know about it. So drop me an email and say, Doug, I want to know more about this, and I'll make sure that it gets in to our next show in March. I did want to do one thing here for Miss Lena. See, look at that. You're the first one that comes up there.
Should FaceTime her.
Yeah, she said she's going to do the video thing, by the way.
She's such a sweetheart.
This Saturday, September 11th, at the South Community Center.
February.
Yeah, February 11th.
I said September. It's
Oh,
okay.
It's this Saturday, February 11th, from 4 to 8 p.m. The Zengab Foundation will have a Mind, Body, and Soul Vision Board workshop. It will be at the South Community Center, and that's at 2235 Lake Robbins Drive in the Woodlands. And you do have to RSVP, and that address is info@zengabfoundation.org. For more information, go on over to zengabfoundation.org, and you'll see it right there on the front page. We're going to take a short break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, right? And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the PAC Act, because there is some things that you need to know that I just found out. I did my PAC Act, 2-3 shows ago? There's more information, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Medicare can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. My name is Andrea Corpening, and I am an agent authorized to offer AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare Insurance Company. I can guide my clients through understanding Medicare coverage options and help them discover what may make AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare a great choice. I can be reached at 281-773-6239. That's Andrea Corpening at 281-773-6239. I can help those find a plan with confidence.
Is there someone you know who is hooked on vintage aircraft? Follow the Commemorative Air Force and its fleet of World War II planes, including the mighty B-17 Flying Fortress Texas Raiders, which is based in Conroe, Texas. Texas Raiders tours locally and all around the United States, offering the public a chance to put their hands on aviation history. What could be a more perfect gift than a flight on a historic B-17? Taking to the sky on the iconic bomber is an experience that will never be forgotten. For the touring schedule, reservations, or more information, go to b17texasraiders.org or call 855-FLY-A-B-17.
Welcome back to Veterans Air, your source for news, talk, and uncensored commentary. We're live in the studio with Commander Marcy Phillips from VFW 4709. We're talking about the upcoming Red, White, and Boots fundraising gala in Willis on the 23rd.
Yes, sir.
Why are you having a fundraiser?
Well, our big...
Where'd all your money go?
Where'd all my money go? Well, there's been a lot of problems with our 1970s building. We've had to replace, in the last couple of years, 3 air conditioners, a brand new roof. All of that was well over $100,000. And then we've also had a lot of issues lately with flooding in one section of the building.
So you're like my house.
Yes. There's 2 walls, 3 different specific places that are flooding. So walls are gutted, kitchen's closed, so we're not able to utilize the kitchen for hall rentals or anything like that. So it's really impacted our business on a large scale. The bingo players are not happy about not having food, and I don't blame them. But several different things. We've had our countertop broke.
The bar.
Yes.
Oh. Can I talk about the bar?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a 1970s building, and the bar is a 1970s building, and it's well used. It's made of wood, started to deteriorate. We voted on that, said we'll spend the last of our money to get a nice bar put in. You get what you pay for, is the first thing.
We're trying to work things out.
The bar is currently open.
It is.
And it has a really nice new bar top on it.
Yes.
But when you get there and you look at it and you'll go, oh, it still has some work to be done. So if you're a member of the Post, go down and buy a drink. If you're a first responder, come on into the Post, have a drink, buy a canteen pass, which are what?
It's $20 for the year.
$20 for the year.
And that's honorably discharged veterans as well. So if you're not eligible for VFW, you could be eligible for canteen membership. Nobody likes to have to look over their shoulder when they're hanging out with friends. So we've tried to provide a place where you can have that camaraderie and security all together.
Oh, and you need to go over to the VFW4709.org webpage, and check out all the stuff they have going on in the bar. We have karaoke, we have bunko, we have perka night.
Super Bowl party.
Super Bowl party. Well,
Yeah.
that's for veterans only. That's for members only, right?
Well, you can bring a guest. So since we're a private club through TABC, is if you're a member of the post or the auxiliary, you can sign in a guest to come with you. So
there's no reason
make
not to hang
friends
over
with
to the bar.
veterans. Yeah.
The sad fact is the post is running out of money, and the building needs to be repaired. And if we don't repair the building, we won't have a place, and we'll be meeting in a tent in the parking lot. And nobody wants to do that.
Yes.
Without the building, without such a large building that we have, we can't do the veteran services and the community outreach that we have been known to do in years past.
Right. We're not just a bar, and we're non-smoking, by the way, in the bar. So I had a guy come in yesterday, and he's like, I haven't been back because you guys smoke. And I'm like, but we don't. So there's a lot of misconceptions. And so we really invite everyone to come back in, check us out, see how things have changed. And whether you like the bar scene or you don't, it's not the regular bar scene. It's a place where we raise funds for service dogs. That's how I got Beignet.
My girlfriend, Benet. I just had a brainstorm.
Uh-oh.
We can open the post for a day and invite the community. We don't have to serve liquor.
Right.
We can just, serve Cokes. Yep. But everybody can come in and they can meet all of us and figure out what it is that we actually really do on a daily basis.
Right.
That's a great idea. I'm going to make a motion
It
for
is.
that.
We actually have started the idea of the Be Our Guest Day once a month. Dennis and I have kind of been batting that around, how exactly we want to do it. Because the membership's like, we need a ladies' night. And I'm like, that's fine. We can do that. But a Be Our Guest Day would go further to help the community know what we do.
We can do that under the TABC.
Yes.
We're a private club, so we can make that rule.
Yeah.
Just have to put it in the rule book.
Well, yeah, kind of. Rule books are absurd. The amount of rule books we have and how long they are that we have to abide by. But we have lots of rule books, and we could add another one.
Yep.
It never hurts.
We can add another one. So coming out to the VFW, if you're able to, please make a donation. Every single dollar helps.
Yes, thank you.
We got to get the building fixed so we can keep doing the things that we do in the community.
Just FYI, I keep a thing of marbles on my desk, and I put a marble in every time we get a call and we help a veteran or their family. And my jar's filling up, but it's not full enough. So we need help in order to, every time I get that, hey, we need groceries, which happens a lot. There's a lot of food banks out there we're trying to get everyone to, which is helpful thanks to Keep Us Fed and Montgomery County Food Bank. But when they need help with their electric bill, their water bill, or whatever, we don't have the funds right now to help with any of that. So we're trying to get other resources to these people, but it used to be us. We used to be able to help them, and turning people away is not easy for any of us to do.
I know that feeling personally.
I know.
I do. I got 15 minutes, Dick?
Yes.
Good. We're going to talk about the PAC Act now. We talked about this in an earlier show, and I gave what information I had, but I have some new info that I want to throw out there for you all. First and foremost, if you're affected by this PAC Act, if you're in those years and those places that affect that, there's a bunch of conditions, cancers, illnesses, or whatnot, that are now deemed presumptive under the PAC Act. And what you may not know is the VFW was very instrumental in getting this PAC Act together and getting it passed. But they've decided that their work isn't finished, so there's still more coming. What I want to tell you about the PAC Act is this. It's still new. It was just passed last year, late in the year. And the VA is trying to come up with systems and information and processes to do the PAC Act. One of the big questions, numerous questions that I have heard over and over again is, do I have to register for this? The answer to that is yes, no, probably. Because the VA hasn't come up with a procedure for this. But if we look at past acts and bills, laws and whatnot, if we look at Agent Orange, if we look at burn pits, which is a separate issue, by the way, different era, I'm a burn pit baby. Yeah, they were databases or places rather that you had to register for that. I would suspect that it would be the same for the PAC Act. But this, if you are already a veteran receiving services from the VA, you'll probably automatically be included in that. So this goes out to all of the veterans, all my brothers and sisters out there that have not and are not receiving services from the VA. I encourage you that even if you don't have disabilities from your service, that you go down and you get registered into the VA healthcare system. It's a painless process. All you need is your DD-214 and you.
In time.
Go on down. You can even go to here to Conroe. I'm not sure what day it is, but they have one day every so often that they will do VA ID cards here in Conroe. And you get registered with the VA. Even though you may not be receiving any services because you don't have a VA disability, that's true for today. There are 23 some presumptive diseases, syndromes, and cancers associated with the PAC Act. That's 23 today.
Right, and those are in addition to the presumptives that were already listed for other locations and times.
So you're fine today. What happens 20 years from now? God, let's hope it never happens, that you come down with lung cancer. If you are enrolled in the VA system and you fall under the PAC Act, the VA is going to give you your care. So you may be thinking you're fine today, but you need to think 5, 10, 20 years down the road and be prepared for when that happens.
So the PACT Act actually requires the VA to screen everyone for toxic exposure when they're enrolled in VA healthcare. That's a requirement. Whereas burn pits and everything, you went on the burn pit registry. There's what some people are saying is, well, I haven't been screened. This passed, I haven't been screened. I don't know what to do. I'm asking if there's a registry. So I think we need to give a little bit of grace to the VA while they figure things out. But at the same time, don't stop pushing to be your own advocate. Because whenever you go in there, we had one veteran, a Vietnam vet, and he kept having skin rashes, and they kept saying, here's this steroid, you're fine. And it was a rare cancer related to Agent Orange. And as soon as they found out, I helped facilitate hospice care with him, and he was gone the next day.
The registry, and this is what we're talking about here today, doesn't yet exist.
Right.
And if you read the PAC Act for yourself, you're going to find out, first of all, that it's very lengthy, and it's written like a law, so it's not going to be a nice reading. But one of the things that you're going to find out is that the PAC Act is very specific dates and specific locations for you to be covered under. What you need to start getting together, since if you look at your DD-214, it doesn't tell you that you were assigned to FOB Liberty. The way that I believe the VA is going to handle this is not only military records, but buddy statements, photos, things of that nature that show you at one of those specific locations during those time periods. That's what I think is going to happen. Doesn't mean it is, but that's what I think is going to happen.
The website, the VA website's very vague. It just says on or after this date, and it gives actual countries, but it's pretty vague because supposedly, and you know how rumors are, as they get into it, it gets very specific, like you're saying. So look at the VA website, but get with the service officer that is knowledgeable, which isn't anyone yet. Just kidding. Don't get offended, Montgomery County Veteran Services. I love you, ladies. But the more
Kay.
knowledgeable, right? Kay, Kathy, and Karen. The more knowledgeable that they get as time goes on, it'll be a lot easier, I think, to pinpoint that. So,
I think so too. Since this just passed last year, very early in the year, the VA needs to put together these procedures and directives to get this happening. The veteran shares a large burden for this. And as you said, you have to be your own advocate. We as veterans need to start putting together the paperwork and proof that they're going to ask for once they figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. How many times have you heard that?
right.
It's sometimes difficult, more than difficult, when you're a veteran or you're working with a veteran 20, 30 years down the road after they left the military to reconstruct their military history. If you do it now and you put it all in a book and you put it on your shelf, then you're ready for when it happens. God forbid it does happen. You're going to need the care. God forbid that you pass. Your family members may also be eligible for some compensation due to your passing, but they wouldn't be able to claim any of that unless you got all your paperwork together. I challenge everybody, all you veterans listening to me, I challenge you to contact your buddies and have them write a buddy statement. It's a simple letter that I served with Joe Blow during this time. We were at such and such in unit such and such, and we were probably exposed. You know, Joe's a great guy. He's good with kids. He likes puppies. Simple buddy statement.
I like Joe.
Say again?
He's a nice guy, sounds like.
Joe's a nice guy. Yeah. He's a nice guy. And stick it in your binder so you'll have it. God forbid something should happen. I'm really concerned about this toxic exposure. Burn pits, which was my era, the first Gulf War, we're just starting to see now a lot of exposure, diseases, cancers, syndromes, whatnot. They're just starting to rear their ugly head. And burn pits were back in the 90s.
Right.
Like I said, it's my era, first Gulf War. You're still young. You don't remember that. You're probably still in school.
I don't remember part of it. Yeah, it's on or after August 2nd, 1990 is when the PACT Act started to cover burn pits with the VA. So, yeah.
And again, you have to prove that you were there. And most of the time, your military transcripts, your paperwork, is not going to show that you were there. It may show that you were deployed, but it wouldn't show where exactly you were deployed to. And that makes all the difference. How much time do I have here, Dick? I got 2 minutes? Time for me to close? All right, I'm going to close. For more information on veterans-owned businesses, the PAC Act, where I've taken my notes and where I got my notes from, go ahead and visit this show when it appears on Facebook. I'll post it to Facebook and to our webpage, of course, under the archives. I'm going to leave you this month. Oh, let me talk about next month real quick, March. I may or may not be here in March. Can I do a shout out real quick to Brandon? talking about the PAC Act. This is very confusing, and you may not know what to do and where to file. One of our members, our judge advocate, Brandon Francis, is an attorney with the Hurd Law Firm, and I believe that's flashing up on our screen right now. Brandon has put out that you can contact him, and he will help you wade through all of this and get your claims started for you.
He actually was just texting me that he's going to be at the post to help me with something tonight. So
Great guy,
Great guy.
Great attorney, sharp dresser.
Yeah.
And he went to Texas Tech. Get your guns up. All right, wind it up, says Dick. All right, we're going to close out the show, and I'm going to leave you the way I do every month with this awesome song by the Warrior Song Project. And while we listen to this song, let us remember our brothers and sisters in uniform that are standing in harm's way today to protect our liberties and our freedom. If you're wearing the uniform, I want to say to you, thank you. I want to say to you, I'm proud of you. And until next month, stay safe and stay vigilant.
I've got the reach in the teeth of a killing machine with a need to bleed you when the light goes green. Best believe I'm in the zone to be. From a yin to my yang to Z. Put a grin on my chin when you come to me, 'cause I'll win, I'm a one of a kind, and I'll bring death to the place you're about to be. Another river of blood running under my feet. Forged in a fire lit long ago. Stand next to me, you'll never stand alone. I'm last to leave, but the first to go. Lord, make me dead before you make me old. I'll feed on the fear of the devil inside of the enemy faces in my sight. Aim with a hand, shoot with a mind, kill with a heart like Arctic ice. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a warrior, this is my song. I am a warrior and this is my song. I bask in the glow of the rising war, lay waste to the ground of an enemy shore. Wade through the blood spilled on the floor, and if another one stands, I'll kill some more. Bullet in the breach and a fire in me, like a cigarette thrown to gasoline. If death don't bring you fear, I swear you'll fear these marching feet. Come to the nightmare, come to me, deep down in the dark where the devil be. In the mall with the jaws and the razor teeth, where the brimstone burns and the angel weeps. Call to the gods of across your path, and my silhouette hangs like a body bag. Hope is a moment now long past, the shadow of death is the one I cast. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a warrior and this is my song. My eyes are steel and my gaze is long. I am a warrior and this is my song.
We're not just going to shoot the bastards. We're going to cut out their living guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks. We're going to murder those lousy bastards by the bushel.
Now I live lean and I mean to inflict the grief, and the least of me is still out of your reach. The killing machine's gonna do the deed until the river runs dry